supply units, maybe a pack of man pads off on the side of the map, guarding against a helicopter flank. And I also grabbed one armored card of LAV C2 CVs. Usually I leave a CV in the start point, allow my teammates to move theirs forward, and then I'll back them up. If they need to spend points on other units, I will go ahead and move a CV up and capture a sector for them. Okay, infantry. We're kind of limited infantry, especially in their delivery vehicles. U.S. infantry is kind of nerfed. Right now we'll go ahead and, right now I went ahead and grabbed a card of Mountaineers with the Dragons and delivered by Chinook, so if I need to capture a town or a defensive area quickly, I got those in Chinooks. I also got the Stinger, LAD Stingers and Humvees. I think the 113 is kind of a waste of a vehicle, but it is what it is. It's kind of weak and it's a waste of points. So I just need to get these into a building or a structure and defend. So with their 70% accuracy and 5 HE power, that's my choice. I also grabbed a card of Light Rifleman 90. They're delivered in Humvee this time to reinforce units later, and when I have time to reinforce and I don't need to get there quickly. The Dragon's kind of weak, and the Super Dragon has more range. This is Super Dragon, so I have 1900 meters versus 1500 meters, and a little bit better. No, AP power is a little bit better, so a little bit better accuracy. I also grab a card of Light Rifleman and M113s. These are used to reinforce as well. I just need to make a correction. Eugene, come on, you got to get your stuff right. I'm an AT4 instructor. It is not an 83mm high explosive anti-tank. It is an 84mm high explosive anti-tank. The reason being is it is Swiss made. They could not say 84 correctly, so we as Americans thought they were saying 84, and that's how it's got its name. Anyway. And I grab a card of assault engineers to support my infantry in either buildings or wood lines due to the fact that the infantry are fairly weak. Support for anti-aircraft, I grab 2 cards of Chappelles because you always need a good amount of IR guided stuff. People tend to always track your or try to take your radars out. I grab some Pizvids because they're decent against helicopters and aircraft, and they have good accuracy. I also grab a PIP, long range, high HE power, slow reload time, takes forever to get to the front. And my money makers, I love these bad boys, the Avengers. These Avengers, you get them in the right places, you set up radar guns behind them or radar anti-aircraft, you can ambush enemy seed aircraft or other aircraft as they come into your fire or your kill zone. With these bad boys and those 70% accuracy, they'll really do some damage. We're going to talk about the artillery first. Specifically, we'll talk about rockets. Normally, if I was using a NATO support deck, I would choose the MLRS, not the 270 ATACMS. All right, this is great against stationary armor. It's great against stationary ships if you can get them sit still. And it's very effective against counter battery, and that's primarily what I use it for. Countering battery, if I think he's going to shoot his guns and not move them very quickly, I'll fire this at him and then follow up with the artillery. But I prefer the MLRS due to it's quick firing, fires a lot of rockets, and it's suppression. I'm just using the MLRS to suppress. Then I'm going to clean their clock with the artillery. I don't use the MLRS to kill. It's very effective against airborne assaults, airborne units that like to land their helicopters, bunch up. You smack them with the MLRS, stun them in place, maybe kill a few. Then you clean their clocks with these artillery weapons. And that could ruin their day in the first couple of minutes of the game. All right, so we'll talk about the artillery. I've chosen the Paladins due to their high rate of fire of 5, HE power of 7, good suppression, and they have a dispersion of 3640, so it's very accurate artillery. And the 110s, they're slow firing, more of a sniper artillery round, 203mm, 2 rounds per minute, but that 10 HE power. If I can suppress whatever I'm shooting at with the Paladin, I could probably clean its clock with the 110s, especially useful if you suppress enemy artillery with this, get them to stop moving, and then you fire this and clean their clocks with the M110. Alright, so very effective in counter battery situations. Tanks are kind of limited. We'll go ahead and talk about the tank choices I've made. I've made the MBT-70 and the Starships. Now I could have got probably 2 cards of MG-70s, but the Starship has more so-close missiles. They both have a 20mm cannon, which is effective against keep it infantry at bay. They both use a similar 152mm cannon, which shoots heat rounds, but not very good AP power. So this is more of a standoff weapon system. Basically I'm using it to keep infantry and light vehicles at bay, not head up on tanks. Recon, I always take three kinds of recon: a helicopter recon, vehicle-borne recon, and infantry and helicopter-borne recon. Just because support, you got to have recon out there. You got to see what you're hitting. And if your teammates aren't supporting you with that recon, you're going to be in trouble and you're going to be wasting rounds. Your artillery should not be firing the entire game. You find big groups of units, you fire on those. You see counter battery, you immediately return fire. All right, but remember, he's going to move, so you need to move your guns too. Keep your guns moving. Every volley after you fire, move your guns, or you're going to get counter batteried. All right. I don't bring mortars. I have my teammates bring mortars. All right, that's their job. I'll handle the heavy guns. I'll handle the artillery. So, for a recon again, I went ahead and took the Kiowa, I took the Mutt, and I took the Rangers. All right, you're kind of limited. You don't get the best stuff, but those will get the job done. Vehicles, I'm more concerned here with anti-tank, so I grabbed LAVATs because they have decent armor and amphibious. All right, and I put those in more in a position, you know, they're more likely to survive over your tow Humvees. I mean, they basically have no armor whatsoever. Anything that will kill them. But the tow Humvee is a moneymaker if you get it in the right place. You hide it, you put it on the flanks. It's got excellent range, 60% accuracy, and AP power of 25. It's going to one-shot anything it hits. And for assisting teammates that are trying to get stubborn infantry out of buildings, a lot of people bring your Zippos and your flame tanks and that, but I prefer the M728 CEV. It's got 165 millimeter, basically indirect round, and at 2,400 meters, basically, I can lob rounds and help assist getting infantry out of buildings without putting that vehicle in danger. Helicopters, you're very limited. I've went ahead and chose just the OH-58CS for anti-helicopter support. You could grab some heavy hogs if you wanted to, but there's nothing that has ATGM missiles to support you. Aircraft, we'll go ahead and talk about the aircraft. Now, first one we'll talk about is we'll talk about the F-16 versus the F-15C. A lot of people take F-15Cs, and that's fine. They're both very similar. You're going to notice you have 300-meter turn radius with the F-16, so it's a better dogfighter. All right, they're both exceptional, both 40% ECM. One has, or they both have AMRAAMs, but one has 2 more AIM-9 missiles. So if you get in that fight and you're in dogfight range, the F-15 has 4 AMRAAM missiles, so you're going to want to go ahead and use that, you know. But for 20 points savings, I'll go ahead and take the block F-16 or the F-16C block S2s, all right, and save on, you know, command points. We'll talk about anti-tank. A lot of people will choose the A-10 Thunderbolt for anti-tank. Now, my choice is the F-15A Hornet. Now, you can get the C, but the only difference is you're getting AIM-9s versus AIM-9 or AIM-9Ms versus AIM-9Ls, okay? And exceptional versus very good, and you're getting a little bit ECM. But I'll take the cost savings with the F-15A because it's got the 4 Maverick missiles and still able to engage at 1,000 kilometers an hour and get out. You know, kill some tanks and get out and survive. The A-10 is great if you know, they're pushing a column at you or airspace is uncontested and there's no enemy aircraft out there. But the A-10 is very vulnerable due to its slow speed and no ECM. So I've chosen the F-18A. Now for my standard gravity bomber, I take the F-15 Eagle because you can't beat 1,000 kilogram 4 times bombs. That's just going to devastate them with over, you know, that's almost 10,000 pounds of bombs. Now, I don't know why they had to name it the F-15D Eagle. I guess they had to nerf the name because Strike Eagle sounded too cool. All right, let's talk about seed. I grabbed a Raven because the Raven's going to hit and it's going to survive at 60% ECM, 40% accuracy. It only has 2 missiles. Now, you could take your Prowlers, but they have 35% you know, accuracy, low, and 50% ECM. You get 2 more planes. Or you could take your Wild Weasels, which only have, you know, 25% accuracy and 40% ECM. I've chosen the Raven just because it's going to survive. And if you want a good napalm bomber, you can take the Corsair. You'll get 3 of them, but you only get 2 bombs. Or you can grab yourself the Phantom, you know, and 8 bombs. But I've chosen to take the good old Intruder because I don't worry about napalm. I'm either using artillery, usually to knock infantry out of buildings, so I don't need a napalm bomber as much. Or, you know, in the tree line. And the Intruder will do the job on the infantry as well. I like the fact that it's 60 points, it's got 12 500-pound bombs. Now you could went and got the Aardvark E for 115. It's got the same bomb load and the exact same ECM. Aardvark's a little faster, but the I'll take, 60 points of bomber, right there. And usually I can get them in and out and survive 1 or 2 sorties. So I take that bad boy right there, the intruder. For naval, I pretty much take the same cards every time, just in case I get stuck in a naval game. I'm not a naval expert. I'm not the guy here to be talking about naval and what's the best choice. But I've just figured I'll take the Oliver because it's got radar, anti-aircraft missiles. It's got 16 harpoons and a 76mm gun. Take Tomcats for air superiority. Take Super Hornets for anti-ship. I take the, of course, the supply ship. And Pohangs. You always got to have a nice ship with Sea Whiz to protect your ships. And that 40mm radar Sea Whiz gets the job done. Has a 76mm gun and 2 harpoons as well. So, all right, basically that's it. I'll be doing more. I'll do some other nations. I got some nasty pack support decks. And thank you for stopping by. I hope you enjoyed the video.